Hello class, it's Mr. Applequist. Today I'm going to show you how to do this cool superhero laser eye effect. So I got this picture of a guy just drinking his coffee on his phone, but I added part of this background and I gave him this laser eye explosion going on. So first what we're going to do, open up a new design. Paper size, we want US portrait 8.5 by 11. You're going to go to the top, select image. That image icon looks like two mountains and a sun, right here. And you should have downloaded the image from the assignment. Man wearing suit jacket, man wearing brown suit jacket. So we're going to import that picture. And it automatically fits it to the size of the canvas. So we want to shrink it down to about, that should be good. Perfect. So I want like a third to a quarter of the top of the screen and like a third of the side of the screen to be empty space that I'm going to fill in with rectangles. All right. So we are going to hit R for rectangle. We've got our rectangle tool selected. Start in the top corner over here. And just drag it over here. Actually, drag it across this way. Go across the top. We are going to give that a fill. And the way we're going to do that, we're actually going to match this color to the gray on the wall. One of this somewhere around here towards the top. It's like that. And now we actually want to give it a gradient. So we're going to hit the fill again and go to the top menu over here, color fills. When I hit down, I'm going to select linear gradient. You can't see it on this video, but when I'm clicking this menu, I am selecting linear gradient. You can see it at the top here, linear gradient. And I want the black part to be at the top over here and the lighter part to be at the bottom over here. So I'm going to click and drag the top part, the black part to the top, and then I am going to drag the lighter portion so that it looks like light is kind of fading away from it. Something like there. You can drag it somewhere like here, but you want to see it a little bit. So something like that should be good. Just want to give it this illusion of depth. So now we're going to add another rectangle here. We're actually going to try and make it look like a column, just like this one. So what we're going to do is click and drag from this corner right over here. If you've got the snapping on, it'll automatically have that. Snapping is right here. Because I have it selected, it's doing that. So I'm going to click and drag over here. I'm going to select fills after I made that rectangle. And I'm going to match the color again. So actually, I want to get out of the fills color, and I want to hit that eyedropper. So the same thing right there. I'm going to hit escape just to show you what I hit. I want the eyedropper next to the fills. The eyedropper right here, that little dot. So I click that. I'm going to match the color of this. I want it to be something around there. So that looks pretty close. But I'm also going to give it, again, a gradient. A gradient in a different direction, though, to make it look like this one, to make it look like that column. So I'm going to click fills again, go back to the menu at the top. I'm going to select linear gradient, just like I did for the top part. I'm going to select linear gradient. And this one is actually exactly the way I want it. It just automatically did it for me. If you can't tell. it made this illusion of a round object. So next I want to concentrate on giving him some laser eyes. All right. So first I'm going to use the rectangle tool, hit R. Whoa. Oh, that changed it to radial. Ha, funny. Let's do Control Z. Okay, go up to linear gradient. If that happened to you, just go to linear gradient at the top. If you've still got it selected, it should go back to the way it was. Now I'm going to select a different thing on the screen, which actually reminds me, we want to turn all this stuff off and label it. So we're going to label this one column or pillar. We'll call it pillar. And this top part we will just call top. So now we've got them labeled. We're going to lock them in place so we don't accidentally select them and move them around. Won't get in our way anymore. So now we want to give them the laser eyes. Let's give them some laser beams. Let's hit R for rectangle. We're going to give them a long, thin rectangle for the laser beam because it's going to end up being, our blast is going to be, explosion is going to be somewhere around here. So we're going to tilt that long rectangle we just made, long, thin line of a rectangle. And we just kind of want to make it line up with wherever his eyes are. So we can tilt it a little bit upwards if we think he's going a little more upwards, the angle. We could make it really severe if we want to try that. That looks pretty cool. He's shooting pretty far. So we will do Control C, Control V, copy and paste it, and click and drag it, and put it over on the other eye. I'm going to zoom in and do that stuff all over again, all right? So undo that. I'm going to zoom in to show you how I line up. Because I'm just showing you how it looks, but you guys might want to zoom in to line up where you're placing these so it fits over his eye. So we've got it selected. Let's say we didn't have it selected. I click on it with my selection tool, and then I'm going to select, not select, but Control C, then Control V to copy and paste it. We've got two versions of it now. So I'm going to pick up the one I just made and put it over on top of the other eye. So I'm actually going to extend these out a little bit. Let's zoom out. We could extend this out a little bit, yeah. You don't have to. You can make your explosion there. I want to make mine a little bit further out. We're going to extend them out like that. I want them to be parallel like that. See how it's even with this? I want them to be parallel like that. Next, I'm going to change the color of them. So what we are going to do is another copy and paste. Let's zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to copy and paste this, Control C, Control V. I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. All right. Make it a little bit smaller. And we're going to change, I'm selecting the one behind it right now. See how I selected the bigger one now? You can see the one in front. I want the larger one behind it. I'm going to change the color of it to just this green right here. Select it right on our swatches. So now we've got this kind of half thing. I want to drag this over to the center of that, just so it looks like it's kind of like this beam. So it's right in the center of that line. And I could copy and paste this if I want, but I think it's actually faster if I just do the same thing over again. So copy and paste, Control C, Control V. Shrink the top one down, then just select the back one. Go to your fills and select green, and then just move this towards the center. So we've got our eyeballs and we've got our lasers. Now we've got to focus them. I'm actually going to turn this a little bit. I selected both of them. I want one eye to just tilt slightly. It's going to make this look a little more realistic, I think. Whoop, undo. I just want to select those two. One of the I-beams I want to select. And I just want it to be slightly angled. so that they're not completely parallel. I just rearranged it a little bit, all right? So it's making this triangle. That's going to make it look a little more realistic, like he's focusing on something that's moving. Next, we're going to make the explosion of whatever he's hitting. So we want a star. We're going to click up here. I don't know the star key, so we're just going to, I don't know if there is one. We're just going to select it from the menu up here, star. Click and drag. That's fine right there, the way I made it. But we want to change the amount of points. We want more than 5 points. So we want to give it like 15, 16, 17, something like that. I think you can go up to 25. So let's go 19. We'll give it 19 points. And we want to change the color of it to green to match our explosion. And we want to add another star on the inside of this. But we want this star to be white, just like our I-beams, because it kind of makes this cool looking explosion. And we're going to select it again, give it some more points. It doesn't have to be the exact same amount of points. It could be like 15 if you want. These don't all have to match up. Now you'll notice in my picture from the beginning that it's not a perfect symmetrical explosion. So to make it like this, we are going to convert these into paths. So just select both of them on the top. You can just make a box across the top, select them both. Convert to path. Now when we do subselection tool, you can start editing these. You can delete them, you can stretch them. So I can just delete one right now by selecting it. See, it's blue now, and I can just delete it. If I delete a couple of them, it'll make it a bigger triangle. So I'm just going to manipulate these around. It doesn't matter how you do this. It's an explosion. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. Delete whichever ones you want. Experiment. Don't forget to adjust the same thing on the inside, because we converted that one too. So delete some, extend some. Just keep doing it until it looks like a comic book explosion. So just keep going around, changing these points. You can shrink some, draw them in closer towards the center. Remember, you can delete some if you delete two. See how that actually didn't make a new point because I deleted the wrong ones. So it's all experimenting, guys. And I want one of these beams to be ahead of the other one, kind of give it some three-dimensionality. So I'm going to select two. So you'll notice it didn't select it. I want to go back to V, select V, because I want the selection tool. Select one of the beams and just bring it ahead. I want the other one actually to be ahead. No, we'll keep it this one. All right. So this side we will bring ahead of the other one. So we're going to do Control plus, Control plus, Control plus, Control plus. Oh, Control down. Now it's a little bit off. I want to get it back to the place where it was. Line it up on the eye. So this part I can shrink down. Oh, they're not actually the same color. So you can adjust that if you want. Make it the same color. So that's how we do our, that's how we give a guy laser eyes. Just keep tweaking this around until it looks like a good comic book explosion. What I did with this, actually, I can, this background is locked, so I can't actually affect it now, but we could make it look a little more three-dimensional if we